Joining us on the Easter Automotive Group hotline is the head coach, Duke football. It's a football school now. I saw it with my very own eyes, Coach, before this game against Notre Dame, when you had game day in town, John Shire holding up his custom jersey at a press conference. I was like, I've been here 20-some-odd years. I never thought I'd see the day. And there it was. You've done the turnaround at Duke.
Yeah, we have. John's obviously great, and putting football and basketball together is something we've talked a lot about, and that's all we're trying to do. I think everybody wants to make so much of this basketball school, football school. We just want to be a school with great athletics, and then we've been great in so many sports for so long. It's nice to see football kind of stepping into that realm and holding its end of the bargain a little bit.
The one thing that Joe and I have discussed a lot in watching this team from last year to what we've seen so far this year is that you've instilled this belief. Right? And sometimes I feel like that's underrated. The coaching staff believing, yeah, you guys should be able to compete. You guys should be able to win. And let's keep this going. In the aftermath of Riley Leonard's injury at the end of the Notre Dame game and the week off, how has that installation of belief bled through the program, knowing that, hey, you still have a lot of goals that you can meet?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously it's still there and it's still strong. You know, we wanted the Notre Dame game to finish a different way. There's no doubt about it. We felt like we had that one and kind of let it slip away. But when you talk about big picture, big scope, I think the other thing it did was show you that we were capable of getting on that big national stage and going toe-to-toe with the blue blood. And I think we did that for 4 quarters and unfortunately didn't make the plays at the end to get the result that we wanted, but we know how close we are. And then we've been a next man up group from day one. I think we've probably talked the least about injuries and the problems and concerns that injuries can create in our program. And it's for moments like this. It's because you've got to instill a confidence in your guys that no matter what happens, you're going to put 11 people on the field and go out there and be successful. And we're fully confident that we're going to continue to do that.
2 minutes, 28 seconds, way too long without a Riley Leonard update, please.
Was that a slide question to get one?
Way too long. Yeah. Let's go. What do we got?
Yeah. Riley Leonard's doing amazing. He's day to day. He's out running around. He's doing the things that you would want him to do a lot quicker than you thought he would. And I think he'll be ready a lot quicker than anyone thinks he will.
A lot of times you, as a coach, you say, I got to go back and watch the tape. I got to do this. I got to do that. What did you think in real time when you saw him bend under the way that he did? And it just looked gross.
Yeah. So fortunately, maybe for me, I didn't have the camera angles that I saw afterwards. Right. Okay. So from my vantage point, I didn't see the nasty bent over that you saw when you went back and watched the TV copy that everyone saw and grimaced off of. And so I think considering what the hit looked like, considering what it all looked like, I think he feels very blessed that he got away with it the way he did.
Tell us a little bit more about Henry Beelan. I know he's 8 for 8. That's a pretty good number. Good-looking kid. You went into the city and got him, though. I mean, this feels like I don't expect a whole lot of drop-off here, Coach.
Yeah, so Henry's got a big arm. He was actually committed to cut and was the first call that I made after accepting the head job and signing the papers. Obviously, because he was a kid that I thought was really talented, but also because the quarterback is probably the most important position that you bring in. And so we were able to get him to sign with us. What was it? Probably 4 days after I got hired here at Duke. And Henry's been a kid that's been developing and getting better in our program from day one. And he's a kid that we've got a lot of confidence in. He throws the ball really well. He's got a big arm. We actually put him in to throw a Hail Mary in the Northwestern game when Riley was healthy. And so that should say a little bit something about his arm strength and what we believe in. Other than, him being a quarterback, making his first start, we're very comfortable with where this thing can go.
Mike Elko joining us, Duke head football coach on the Easter Automotive Group hotline. So this NC State team you're seeing has a new quarterback that's an old quarterback. It's the MJ Morris 2.0. I'm assuming you watched Saturday. You're preparing for this week. What did you see different out of the Wolfpack with MJ at quarterback that you have to prepare maybe a little bit differently than you would have at the beginning of the season with Brennan Armstrong?
Yeah, I just think MJ's got a really big arm. I think he's got a lot of arm talent. I think you saw that from the games last year as well. I think, he can make every throw. And when he's in rhythm and on, and the ball goes exactly where he wants it to go, it looks like a high-level NFL draft pick. I'm sure in his mind, he's still working on the consistency and doing it play in and play out like a lot of young quarterbacks do. But obviously you saw a kid who operated in the throw game better than they've been able to at any point this year.
What is the secret, quote unquote, to your defense other than having a really good front?
Yeah, one of the things we spent a lot of time on is keeping the other team out of the end zone. And we feel like every time we do that, they don't score a lot of points. But,
that's that strategy, man. That's a good strategy. Keep up with that.
Yeah, no, I think obviously, listen, we were able to bring back a lot of guys in the defensive front, and that was critical. Being who we are and where we are, that's really important. When you have really good D linemen and you're able to hold on to them, I think that says a lot about your program. And so that was great. And then we were able to go out and really add some key pieces in the secondary. I think, people talk about us in the transfer portal like we're not doing a ton because we're not really loud and we're not really bringing in mass numbers, but we added 3 really talented players in the secondary. And I think those 3 in conjunction with a lot of our returners taking the next elevation, I think have really solidified our back end, which I thought was our weakness last year. And so, we've been playing really good. We've been playing together. Obviously that's going to have to ramp up now as we look to kind of build everything up around the team without Riley.
I have 2 Mike Elko salesman questions for you. Which one would you like first?
B.
All right, let's go. Because Blades, his whole family, Miami. He starts his career at Miami.
Well, I watched his dad in the Orange Bowl.
Dad, cousin, uncle, you name it. Like yeah. Blade, you think of the Plumleys in Duke basketball,
right?
You see Plumlee, you think Duke basketball. Blades, you think Miami football. What was that sales pitch like to get him? Because I think he has been kind of a stabilizer for you, and how important that position is to have a quarterback back there.
Yeah, I think fortunately there was a lot of familiarity with David Feely and with Ishmael Aristide, our corners coach. Both of them had come from Miami, and so there was a little bit of a personal connection that existed. I think he felt as though he was at his physical peak when he was working with Dave. And wanted to get back to that. And then we just talked about, I think one of the things that we offer to kids, and we talk about this all the time, is you can come here and you can get around a staff that has coached defense at the highest level. 2 years ago, we had the 3rd best defense in the country. The year before that, a lot of these guys were on the staff with me that had the best defense in the SEC. You're not selling hey, come here and we're learning how to coach defense. We've fortunately been able to coach defense at a really high level for a really long time. And so when you talk about those kids with 1 year left, just trying to take their game to the next level to get ready for the NFL, I think there's a lot that sells on our end from that perspective.
See that, Joe? That's coaching. That's leadership. Mm-hmm. Never take credit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Joe would love for you to record something right now.
I would.
On StreamYard for me. Because, Coach, I'm not going to lie to you, man. Anybody can podcast on a Monday. Anybody. You're just reacting to games, man. Right? Like,
sure.
Anybody can sit in front of a camera and talk about what they just saw. Tuesdays, though?
It's a little harder.
Tuesdays, the coffee just doesn't quite get you there. That breakfast sandwich from the Raleigh Times doesn't quite hit the same way. I need in your best Mike Elko, before you send your boys out to play Clemson on Labor Day, I got to know what on earth you told them to get them running out there like their hair was on fire, like the South Section 8 4A jersey title was on the line, man. Your guys played like screaming banshees in that game. So I need to know what you told them, how you got them going.
Yeah, I think we spend a lot of time putting chips on our shoulder, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in here, and that's probably the Jersey and me, right? That you function a lot better in life when you got a chip on your shoulder, and so when you play those historical blue bloods, it's real easy. It's an entitlement, it's a 5-star mentality, it's a work ethic that our kids perceive they don't need that we have, and you kind of toil into all of those inner things and drive into them, hey, this is your chance to go out there and show what you belong and what you're capable of. And this is why we do all of that. This is why we put in all that work.
Are you a screamer? Do you practice? Are you Rod Brindamore? Is it just a snappy?
I'm probably more animated than I am on a Tuesday podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I don't act particularly well, so you're not going to get the best of me pregame mode when I'm just hanging with you guys. On
it's the right mindset.
Got to be in the zone.
Yeah. But you know, there's thought that goes into it, but I think most people would tell you that my pregame conversations are fairly genuine. That there's not a lot of shtick. I'm not a big shtick guy. I just kind of speak what's on my mind and speak what's in my heart, and usually the decibel elevates with each sentence, and by the end of it, we've put something good together to go out and play football.
All right, I'm with you on that. All I'm hearing is that the jersey isn't all that strong in Giglio if he doesn't have a chip on his shoulder to prove me wrong on a Tuesday.
Well, some people were born on third base, and when you're born on third base, it's hard to have that chip on your shoulder.
I mean, I realize I still have the name tag on from the NC State Fair Food Media Day. All right.
Yeah. Well, it's no doubt who you're rooting for. You're probably on. I'm probably on with you guys with some type of backdoor messaging to steal some of the game plan. No. I was simply making the point that I just powered through all this fried food to be here, ready to go, and be hyped. And Giglio's still struggling, man. I just find that kind of funny. Anyway,
struggles real, coach.
Have you been? By the way, have you been to the state fair yet?
I have not. Unfortunately, it keeps popping up in the middle of this football season where I generally have some things going on.
And then in an open week, you don't have time to just go and fool around, right? Like, what did you do on the open week?
I will tell you this though, just in a moment of pure honesty.
Okay.
Did get a chance to sneak into Raleigh Thursday night for the Zach Brown Band concert with my wife, and so that was my one little night to kind of get away a little bit, which was good.
And one other thing too, given the week leading up to the game with game day there and everything else, I've always found this fascinating because coaches in particular are about routine. I know you love routine. So on one hand, how do you balance this incredible opportunity of having game day show up to campus for the first time ever, while also trying to prepare for a huge game along with all the obligations that go along with it? I think you had done like a Pat McAfee hit, you had done a game day segment, all that kind of stuff. So how did you balance all of that with also still preparing?
Yeah, I think I'm as much as I do like the comfort of the routine, I think I am a little bit more flexible in my thinking and my way of going about things. So obviously that was a tremendous opportunity for us and for the nation to have a spotlight on Duke, and specifically Duke football, maybe for the first time ever to that level. Those are things that you can't miss the opportunity to do, right? You can't miss getting on with Pat. You can't miss doing a hit on game day. You can't miss firing up the crowd. Like, those are things that, when you're talking about trying to elevate brand recognition, those are opportunities as the CEO of Duke that you have to take advantage of. And so I don't know that I saw any of it as a burden. I think you just what we try to do is front load the week, and that's probably a part of what you do every week, but even more so knowing what the back end of that week was going to look like was, maybe spend a little bit of extra time earlier, get in a little bit earlier, and make sure that at the beginning of the week, you really get the majority of your work done, almost like you would for a bowl game, because at the end of it, there's going to be stuff that you have to do, and you can't miss out those opportunities.
I totally believe you that you don't practice the pregame speech. I am curious, though, do you practice your stock answer now for when people ask you about other jobs? Because when you have the success that you've had, you're going to see your name out there. Connected to a lot of them already with the Michigan State one. So have you worked on what your stock answer is going to be when you're asked about such things?
Yeah, it's the same stock answer I've been using probably for the last 7 years of my life is in football coaching, you're one of two things. You're leaving because you're doing a good job, or you're getting fired because you're doing a bad one. And I think I've been rumored to be leaving the job I'm in pretty much every day of my life for the last 7 years. And so
for the right reason, though.
whatever. Some days it's the wrong reason. Depends on which Saturday you pick it up. I think right after the 4th and 16 call, I think everyone in the Duke fan base wanted me to leave. So no, it comes with coaching, right? And it's just the reality of it. And I know it's great for people to speculate, and you guys have a blast doing all of that stuff, but that's really not for me. It's not anything that I'm about. It's not anything I pay any attention to.
Now that you bring it up and you've watched it, I thought Sam Hartman made a nice play.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do on 4th and 16? I'm curious.
Yeah, not what we did because it didn't work. And that's something like I think one of the things that is important for people and for fans to recognize is nobody beats themselves up more about a call that doesn't work than the person who made the call. And so when something like that happens, you think about everything you could have done differently. But, in the moment, all you can do is the call that you think is the best one. And I don't know that I would have changed it or didn't think it was the best one even coming out of the game. But, you certainly self-evaluate and reevaluate everything you possibly do. And at the end of the day, great players make plays, and Sam made a great play. And unfortunately, he got 17, and I wish he'd have got 14.
Mike Elko, head coach, Duke football. We appreciate the time as always. Good to catch up, and we'll talk to you later in the season.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. I'm still waiting for our baseball stars match. I still have the TV ready to go.
Look, I come out by you.
That in the off season, that is still on the docket.
Okay.
I talked to Art about that, and I am ready. I have the game, just so you know. I have the game.
I got to practice.
And I have the Nintendo system. We just have to figure out when we do it. So this sounds a lot like this sounds a lot like late January content if you're not on the
That's a good timing. January, February during the dead period, that seems to fit really well.
All right. Well, we got you on record. We're going to make this happen. Which also means you're going to be at Duke. So yeah, we will talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Next topic, please.